Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yesterday, I finished it. I finished the blanket. So we're going to talk about the blanket briefly, and at the end, I'm going to pause this and then I'm going to add a clip showing it on the bed. Because this is a queen size blanket, it is difficult to maneuver due to the size. It was a pain working on it at the end there, like all blankets are. But I just wanted to share a few things that I did while working on this blanket. And also, when I don't make a blanket, I don't keep track very good of how many skeins of yarn go into the blanket. I'm terrible about this. So this time, I did a thing. Every time I started a new skein, I stuffed the label in a big gallon Ziploc bag. I have every label for every single skein of yarn that went into this blanket. So this time I actually know, so I can tell you exactly how many skeins go in and how much money it cost, roughly. Okay, so the yarn that I used for this blanket is this local grown Lion brand wool. I really like this wool. This is really good wool. And as a bonus, it's grown and made in the USA. You can't beat that. That is amazing. 54 skeins of this yarn went into this blanket. 54. Now, the cost of this yarn when I was buying it, it was $9.99 per skein. Now, I did watch for sales, but then after you factor in the cost of shipping, it still probably comes out to the $9.99. So basically, this blanket costs about $540 to make. The Lion brand website changed the price on this yarn though. Literally a couple days after I ordered my last skeins that I needed for this blanket, this skein of yarn went from $9.99 to $14.99. So these skeins of yarn are now 15 bucks rather than 10 bucks. So the yarn is substantially more expensive. So it would cost me more money to recreate this blanket if I decided to recreate it. Yes, I'm waving a crochet hook around. Don't ask me why. Why am I waving around a crochet hook? Because it's in my hand. And I move my hands when I talk. And I try not to, but I do it. So the hook size that I used is an H or 8 or 5. I can't read the 5 point something millimeter. Maybe it's just 5 millimeter. I think it's just 5.0 millimeter. It's hard to tell. This crochet hook set, it has an imprint, but because of it has an imprint of what the sizes are, but because of the pattern on it, you can't see the imprinted numbers and letters very easily. And they did also have it printed in black on the opposite side. But over the course of making this blanket, I wore the painted on numbers and letters off my crochet hook. So now I can see the H8, but then the dash 5 something millimeter is under a flower and I can't tell what it says. But I really like this crochet hook, but the pattern is starting to wear off on it. It's had a lot of use. Now, how long did it take me to make this blanket? It took me 3 months. I started the blanket February 28th and I finished it, what was yesterday? Was it the 30th or the 31st? I am terrible with dates. Terrible. I think it was the 30th yesterday. No, it was the 31st yesterday. I think today is June 1st, Sunday. Doesn't matter. I told you I was terrible with dates. Asking me to remember people's birthdays is like the worst thing ever because I'm not going to remember people's birthdays. I'm terrible. I have to write them down. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a border on this blanket, but I ended up deciding on a scalloped border, and I think I like it. I was skeptical. I was going to do just like a plain border, just maybe go around it a couple times with single crochet or something, but the scallops, I think they add a nice touch to the bedroom. Now, another thing that I will say that I did in this, when making this blanket, you'll notice that my granny square stitches are tighter together. It's because I skipped the chain spaces that go between each set of 3. So it's 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1. I pulled out the chain 1. So I'm just going 3 double crochets, then 3 double crochets, then 3 double crochets, then 3 double crochets. That's it. All the chain spaces I pulled out. That is why my granny square blanket is tighter than what people would normally do for a granny square blanket. I prefer the tighter granny square. So as I do granny square projects, you will see that I remove the chain spaces. I really don't want something big and loose and holey on the bed. I prefer to have like less, I mean, obviously it's granny square, so you can see in the light that there are like, you can see the holes. They exist. They just aren't as big as if I had had those chain spaces in there. So 3 months to make a queen size blanket. That is a record for me. I've never made a blanket that quickly before, but I will say it is because granny square works up, I'd say, pretty fast. It's my personal opinion. My personal opinion is that granny square works up fast. I can basically fly around and fly around and fly around and fly around. Like it's literally just all double crochet since I removed the chain spaces, which doesn't take long. And even with this border, first I did a whole round of single crochet, but the border itself is single crochet, skip 2, and then 5 double crochets into one space, skip 2, and another single crochet. So even the border is mostly double crochets. So even the border didn't take me that long to complete, going all the way around. And that is all the information that I have on this blanket that I made for my bed. So I am going to try to add a clip at the end showing it spread out on the bed. But then I'm going to have to put this blanket away for the summer. It is summer, it is hot, and nobody wants to sleep under a wool blanket in the middle of the summer. So it's got to get put away till the fall, and I'm sad about it because I worked hard on this thing. I spent 3 months busting out a queen size granny square blanket just for it to be done in time for summer. Well, my thinking there was, I don't want to be sitting under a queen size blanket working on it over the summer. So instead of just taking the summer off and having it sit, my thoughts were, why don't I get it done before the summer? Because if I get it done before the summer, then I can just fold it up and put it away, and I don't have to pull it back out. I can move on to a completely different blanket project in the fall when I start working on blankets again, which will be my son's blanket. It will be my son's. But anyway, thank you for tuning in and watching my final video about my granny square blanket. I appreciate you guys hanging with me, even though my videos are not high tech. And is it bugging anybody else that that picture frame is crooked? That is my son's baby picture, and why it's crooked, I have no idea. I'm gonna have to fix that. I think my husband was messing with the curtains. How he would, I don't know. I don't even know. Some things that happen in this life are just a mystery that will never be solved. So, thank you for watching my video, and I'll show you a clip of this on the blanket. I mean, on the bed. I can't even talk today, guys. I can't even talk.